bleachers in the rain. We've shed a million tears and drank as many old-style beers out at the game. Let's go, Cubby, Sun Ranto.
Michael Cotton.
Sun Ranto.
Michael Cotton.
Sun Ranto and the lovable Lucy.
Mucho Scali.
Sun Ranto.
Michael.
Sun Ranto.
Cotton.
Sun Ranto and the lovable Lucy.
Michael Cotton.
Sun Ranto.
Mucho Scali.
Dude, I lip synced you. Did you see that?
Did good.
Yeah,
Well,
you were lucky because you could breathe through the whole thing, and I couldn't. And I was
it was great. I was breathing my nose, my mouth, like my ears were breathing. It was incredible.
We're gonna be doing this when we're like really old, and I'm in every show is just gonna start with me yelling so long that I just fucking pass out, and then I'm be like, for the first 5 minutes, you got to wake me up.
Wake up. Just you wake up about 10, 12 minutes into the show. I'll let you know what I'm talking about. And I'll have forgotten by then because I'm senile. Yeah, that'll be the beginning of the end. But it won't be the end. The beginning of the end.
Wake up, Grandpa Cotton over there. Can't get through a fucking Sun Ranto show.
So hi everybody. This is the Sun Ranto show. My name's Danny Rocket. And we're here with Infield Fly Girl, who's out in Seattle, and we got out in Iowa, the Blake Beard, otherwise known as Michael Cotton. And how is everybody?
Is Blake still sponsoring us? That's why I always keep that up.
Yeah, Blake is sponsoring us indefinitely. He has, in fact, I sat in Blake's seats. Well, I kind of did. I sat across the aisle where there was more room the other day. I was at the game with Rafael and Raissa from Brazil, who I actually met at the Ivy Envy weekend at the lake. They're in town to go to Cubs games basically and see all the great things that Chicago has to offer. Last time Rafael was here, he was running the marathon, and he bought Blake's tickets. Here's the view. Now this is a nice sunny day where we're looking at Blake's tickets here. We did not have that experience. We froze our butts off in Blake's seats, but it is a good view, and I was able to see the Cubs lose to the Padres there. It was very exciting for me to sit there and complain about Grandpa Rossi's decisions. Anyway.
So you were there in game 2 then?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they are great seats, 100 level by Blake at the Blake Beard on Twitter. You can buy his seats. Also, Blake's running a contest. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but I'll start. I'm drinking out of my crazy cat mother pink mug. I've got my yerba mate with my bombilla straw, and it tastes. I love this stuff, man. I actually don't want. I was sad the other
word.
Bombilla. Yeah.
Now, that yerba mate, that's an energy drink, basically, right?
It's caffeine. It's tea with caffeine. And it's just, I got hooked on it from being married to an Argentinian for a few years and then going down to Argentina, and everybody was drinking this stuff. And I'm like, what the heck is this stuff? And it's delicious. And it's just, it's got a kick to it. It's why the Sun Ranto show ends up being 2.5 hours long sometimes. Kind of my fault for like getting all hopped up on this stuff and not like, hey, you got two choices, people. Either I'm drinking beer and then the show takes 2 hours and I'm not making any sense because I'm drunk, or I'm hopped up on yerba mate, going nuts, screaming about the Cubs.
He goes 2 hours and then he's like, let's do a post show too.
Yeah, we're good, man. Now I'm gonna pour whiskey on it. Let's go. So IFG, what do you got to drink? Anything good?
I am representing Ninkasi Brewery in Eugene, Oregon. This is their Hazematic Hazy IPA with notes of guava and orange, and it is a nice 6.9% ABV.
Nice.
What does guava taste like? Like,
it
that doesn't
is-
sell me at all. I'm like, guava? What the hell?
Okay, so you have to get those lovely guava pastries I used to get at the grocery store in Florida. Those were amazing. It's a really, really sweet fruit. It's absolutely delicious, like candy.
It's great. It's great with like a cheese plate when you get the guava paste
Yes.
from Goya, and you just like put that, and you get a little sweet with the cheese. Yeah, I dig me
Gosh,
some
I love
guava.
it.
I always like when people can
Fanta.
like explain what is in it or whatever. When I was down in Peru, though, I ran up against a problem because the dude didn't speak any English, and it was a Spanish word that I'd never heard of, and I'm like, it's made with orgullo. What is orgullo? And he could
Orgullo.
not explain it to me at all, and I couldn't figure it out. And it wasn't until like 3 hours later when I was like, I guess I'll try some orgullo. I found out that just means pride.
Yeah, no,
It's made with
yeah,
pride.
it's made with pride. Yeah,
It has nothing to do with the flavor of the beer at
It's
all.
made with love. That's why it's yummy.
And I'm sure I was confusing the hell out of the guy. He's like,
is it
and
a fruit? Is it an animal? Like, is it bigger than a bread basket?
yeah.
Um,
And he's just sitting there going, what? I don't know what to fucking say to this guy. I hope he leaves soon.
what are you drinking? There, MC Cotton.
I am just drinking some water. I will be having a
Like from the toilet?
I mean,
Obviously. Where else do you get water from?
that is also water. It is like that, but I did not actually get this from the toilet.
Ah,
You
sink
can
guy,
tell because
are you?
it's clear and it's not blue. No, I'm really fat right now,
Mm.
so I'm trying to lose some weight. I've been doing pretty good. Done like 5 pounds this week, but I haven't eaten like any carbohydrates or shit like that for like 5 days, and a lot of lettuce, it's not fun, but you know what? It's starting to get a little bit warmer, and I gotta get my bleacher bod on. Like, can't just be going out in the bleachers and
Taking your
looking
shirt
like
off. in front
everyone
of
else in the
everybody and-
bleachers.
Yeah. Oh no, you can. You can do that.
I'm fat when I have to lose weight to get into bleacher bod shape.
Yeah, this is Chicago. This ain't Miami where the Cubs are heading. I do want to mention that our show is brought to you by our 115 Patreon supporters, and of course Blake Beard's tickets. And one of you is going to win this fabulous prize, which is, we're going to talk about Wilson Contreras later, but this is a Matt Camera print, and somebody's going to win that. It's the end of the month, last show of the month, so somebody's going to win this. And
I didn't
and
even realize
hopefully-
it was the last show of the month.
yeah, it's April 27th. Lyle Akers' birthday.
Hey,
Happy
birthday,
Lyle.
Yeah, also is the birthday of Chris Salato, who has the Cubes fan, drawn by you, Michael, tattooed
Yeah.
quite large on his leg. I mean,
Yeah.
it was shockingly large.
Salato's a good dude. I was blown away when he did that. I've been thinking recently about making socks that have the Cubes fan on them, and actually calling the socks Salatos. And I'll only have the Cubes fan on the one, so you could pull your socks up, and then you can also have a Salato tattoo. That would be the most inside
Yes.
fucking Son Ranto joke ever. Somebody's walking around with one pulled up sock with the Cubes fan on it.
Let's have a meeting about that and table that idea for a moment, and then maybe we could brainstorm a few things. If you want to win those Salato socks that are
I'm
in
gonna
the future,
make at least 2 pairs. I'm gonna make one and send it to him. So
but he doesn't need one. He's wearing a live sock.
but in the winter, when it's cold,
Yeah, I get you.
he can pull up his Salato sock over his Salato tattoo, and it'll.
I'm
still
just
stay.
picturing Michael Cotton sitting with an embroidery hoop, just like cross stitching
Yeah.
a Cubes fan logo
cross-stitching?
into a pair of socks.
No, I was like fucking black marker, white socks, and just draw that
Okay,
fucker
okay,
on
we're
there.
gonna Haynes it. So
Yeah.
some Fruit of the Loom crew sock.
Hey,
Action.
you got to keep your expenses down in this business, but you got to do some markups here.
Yeah, I'm not made of money with crochet needles and shit. I don't even know what you're talking about.
So, if you'd like to win one of those Hanes socks made by Michael with a Sharpie, then join our Patreon, and you could still, because we're not going to give this away until later in the show. You can win the Wilson Contreras, and you can also win, I lost one of those socks that Michael will draw and send to you. But you can win. You can win if you subscribe tonight. So if tonight is a night, I will check the email to see if anybody went in there, and I will add you to the drawing to win the Wilson and the Hanes sock drawn by Michael.
Game used.
The game used that was made up on this show. We're also giving away a chance postcard, #chance in the chat, if you would like to win a message of love and doom sent to you by me. And, we had some love and we had some doom all in one homestand. You lose 3 of 4 to the Dodgers, a little bit heartbreakingly. Some of those games were, maybe the end score doesn't seem that close in some of the losses, but it was close much of the game. And then they, blew it at the end for various reasons, Michael Fulmer. And then and your lack of a closer. But
what's a closer?
I don't know. We don't have one. And we'll talk later about how maybe we could get one and some ways that could come about. But
it doesn't matter. I mean, Ross will still use him in the 7th, try and get 3 innings out of him or
I
something.
like the matchups. He's a switch hitter. I thought I'd turn him around. Like, what?
Yeah.
So Michael, do you have a poem to read about the Dodgers series? We could start with that if you have it, or do you have the Padres series up first?
No, I have the LA series here. Let's pop it up here. Bear with me. I've never actually read this one out loud, which sometimes I'd better if I do. But okay, Cubs versus Dodgers. So good on the West Coast trip. Inside of Wrigley, Cubs did slip. Losses Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. They could only win on one day. No Thursday start for Tyone. Like Hawk Harrelson, he gone. Bullpen start went just fine till Fulmer blew it inning 9. Friday, Smiley did look perfect until the 8th when he got wrecked. Not by Dodgers coming home, by his catcher, Jan fucking Gomes. Saturday, Wisniewski fell. 5 earned runs, earned the L. A rubber game, Kershaw versus Stroman. 1,000 Ks, but Dodgers homing. LA calls. 4s over 3s, takes the pot and season series.
Yeah, how about that? We're already done with the Dodgers, just like that.
It's so weird.
And I'm looking back at things. Do you realize that we just played 4 straight series against California teams?
Yeah, no, I did.
That's
I actually
insane.
called. I look at the name of the show, California Freezing.
Yeah,
because we were freezing our butts off in the out there. Yeah, let's start. I mean, not a great start when you have to do a spot start with Assad, and then Tyone on the IL, who I don't know how long that he's going to be out. I mean, nobody's really talking about it, are they? Anybody hear anything?
no, nobody even knew he was like. All of a sudden, he was just out for. I think it's the 10-day IL, so who knows how long that might be
for pitchers now.
Yeah. 15. And so Assad comes up. He's not stretched out really that much. He takes 3 innings, and then you have to. So when you start a 4-game series and you use your entire bullpen to get through a 2-2 game, the first day, like
really not ideal.
You better have somebody throw a perfect game the next day, or else you're going to be fucked for the whole
right, which
series.
is what happened.
And then
Yeah, but it still didn't help. But somehow, Smiley tried. But yeah, that was a little bit of a heartbreaker. I went to part of this game. I went and saw Billy DeVore over on Belmont at the Annoyance Theater. He was in town. If you're watching for the first time, don't know, or listening for the first time, don't know who Billy DeVore is. He is a Reds podcaster for the new Nasty Boys. But he's also a stand-up comedian. He was on a little tour. And so he played in Chicago, and I went down there first. But I'm like, hey, I think if we get out of here, we could probably catch the last bit of the game. But it was a 2-2 tight game, so it was going quick. So we didn't get there until about the 7th. I picked up some tickets super cheap because it was super cheap. I think it was only like $6 a ticket. I want to say it was $6.
I mean, that late. That's almost a ripoff.
Yeah, but he wanted to go in, and so did the guy that that was touring with him. So we went in, and then that game, it's 2-2, and then we get fulmered. And to me, the
I
pitch,
think it's because you guys showed up.
it really was.
Shit
So
was
Billy,
going fine. We had a real chance, and then you posted a picture of you and Billy at the game, and it all went to hell.
you're not wrong.
That's how baseball works. Those are advanced stats.
But to me, the really heartbreaker was, and I love Jason Hayward so much, but I really do. I mean, I think he's a class act all the way. He was one of the best right fielders that I've ever seen in a Cubs uniform by far. Like the bat, obviously he's one of the hardest hitters in baseball right now. I saw some stats
leading the league
in
hard hit rate.
Yeah. Boog loves that stat. Man, does Boog like that one. But he walked Jason Hayward. Fulmer walked Jason Hayward, and that was like kind of the key moment right there. And then it was Outman, right? That hit it outmanned.
Yeah, something like yeah.
Outman hit 4 home. No, maybe I think he had 4 home runs in the series against us. So like,
yeah, at some point they should have been walking his ass.
Yeah, so a pretty frustrating loss, but then, man, that next day was a beautiful day at Wrigley, and you bounce back with a 13-0 drubbing of the Dodgers behind Drew Smiley, and I mean, what he's doing right now with the curveball, he's got 2 different ones, and he's like spinning up there, and nobody can seem to hit it. But
he has, I don't know, maybe he does have 2 different curveballs, but when you're looking at that's
what Jan said.
Yeah, okay. When you're and maybe, but when you're looking at the thing, he's just throwing a sinker and a knuckle curve, and that's it all day long, and it's working, man.
It's working.
He has it figured out.
And this is somebody that didn't have a great spring, had a bad first outing. Everybody's a little like, oh, maybe this, maybe. Yeah, but here's the thing. It is working out. It's going great. And he was near perfect in this game. It got broken up in the 8th inning, and Jan Gomes tackled Drew Smiley in one of the craziest freaking plays. And I was right down there. I was sitting there with Chase McClure, the inventor of the Raider Bay game. If those of you have been.
Yeah, Raider Bay.
Yeah, I'm trying to get him to put that website back up. It's so much fun. We have got to do some online fishing. We definitely do. IFG, I know you have no idea what we're talking about, but I'm about to introduce you to a Ranter invented game that is just incredible. Raider Bay is awesome. But
I'm here for it.
But man, to have it end like that was freaking hilarious. But
it was funny.
I've never seen anything
I'm never
like
going to stop laughing, honestly.
but here's my thing. And Michael and I were arguing about this a little bit, and I want you to weigh in on this, IFG, because he was in, I forget what number he was at. He was in the mid 90s. He finished
the game, I think, with 103.
Right. Okay. He finished with 103, but at this point in the game, he was in the mid to late 90s with his pitch count. Here's a guy with a massive injury history. We're not expecting more than like 120 innings out of the guy. So, what's one more, right? I mean, what's his career high is to go 108 pitches. Let's say, just hypothetically, and tell me what you think in the chat too. Hypothetically, he's at pitch 120. The perfect game's still going. There's 2 outs in the 9th, and then like he gets it. He gets the perfect game, but we never see him play again, which actually happened with like Johan Santana with the Mets. Like he pitched
we saw him play again, just never good.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. Would you rather have witnessed a perfect game, one of the rarest things in history, or would you rather just like have Ross get booed by everybody and take his ass out at pitch 103?
This is a really great question. I very firmly believe that if a pitcher has a perfect game going, nobody should take him out but himself.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
And
that's a great point.
If he decides he's done, fine, perfect. But if he's got a perfect game going and somebody else pulls him out, fucking shame on that guy.
yeah. Well, and here's the sort of the whole situation. Danny was actually at that game, right? That Johan Santana threw 148 pitches or some shit like that.
Sure.
And
I was at that game.
Destroyed his arm. So you have like this like trauma overseeing a man's career.
I don't care about the Mets. I don't really.
But you watched that happen, and now you see it in the Cubs. You're like, ooh, I don't know.
Okay, but consider specifically how annoyed all the Mariners fans would be if he unseated King Felix. That would have been hysterical.
I mean, it's
Right.
yeah. I mean, to me, it's like what I've liked to have seen a perfect game live in person. Said I was actually there, taking pictures, had the proof and that I was there. Get myself a souvenir ticket stub or whatever it would be to know, that I was at a rare baseball event. Yeah, but like, part of me is like, hey, the Cubs aren't that bad this year. And if they're gonna have any kind of success, like we're gonna need Drew Smiley to be good. He's like,
no, I don't care. I literally don't care. Like the perfect game is more important. That is that pitcher's career achievement. And he should be the only one to decide to take himself out of it.
Yeah. Drew Smiley is not on a trajectory for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. It's not like he's gonna have another chance to throw a perfect game.
Yeah. So if he throws a perfect game, it is his whole career. It is everything for the rest of his life. He'll make money on that for the rest of his life because he'll be able to like get paid.
He will
to go
be the
talk
last
about
guy
that
to have
shit,
thrown a perfect game until somebody else does it.
which is going to be a while because this shit doesn't happen very often. And so that's what I look at too. But also, the whole injury aspect of it, of like overthrowing in one game. Johan Santana was throwing hard. He was a power pitcher, right? Like that was his thing. He threw a ton of pitches. What Smiley is doing right now, and I know he does have an injury history, but what he's doing right now is the easiest thing he can do for his arm. Like he's not out there destroying his arm or even putting himself in a position that his arm will be destroyed because he's already had to deal with all that. He's figured out a way to throw this knuckle curve and this 90-mile-per-hour sinker, and it's working for him. So I don't think a guy like that gets a few extra pitches, like 30 extra pitches, and I don't think it kills him for the rest of his life. I think maybe you don't put him out there against the Padres, but give him an extra.
Get him an extra day or two. Yeah. I mean, either way, it was such a bullshit hit that he lost it on. But part of me was like, well, at least Ross can take him out now.
It sure did kick Jan in the ass though, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like he came right back. He's like, okay, I guess I got to make up for that. I'm gonna go hit baseballs now.
Yeah. No, Jan was totally out of control. And which game was it that he had 2 home runs? Was it? That was against the Jan game. I wrote in here the Jan game somewhere, but
that was what the first game against the Padres. He went 4 for 4. And he had
exactly. Yeah, that's it. The Gomes game. There it is. I mean, I want to get to this in a comparison, maybe even to Wilson and that whole decision. With what's going on with the Cardinals right now sucking. I definitely want to get into that later because it's hilarious to me. But, when you think of like Gomes as, okay, he's this like catcher who can catch a near perfect game and just be that locked in with Drew Smiley for an afternoon. And then, like you say, then start like pounding balls over the wall to the point where he has more than doubled what Wilson Contreras' home runs are, and he's one of the leaders on the team in homers. And that's something that none of us expected. I did look at Gomes' numbers recently, and it's not something that we should continue to expect.
No.
I mean,
No, because I think he's at like his career high in home runs for
like
a
11.
full season is right now.
no, he's got higher, but it's been a while. You know what I mean? Like he was on that Nationals team that won the World Series. So, but he's been around a while. He's in his mid-30s. So he's had a few seasons in the sun at this point. He's got a little pop, but yeah, I wouldn't expect too much more unless, the ball's juiced. But
and it looks like it is.
Yeah. So then we get into game 3 and 4 of the Dodgers game where you lose them both. This time Box of Burgers gave it up. That he had a bad outing. I mean, just the back end of the bullpen you can't trust. It's like at every other time.
And when they're good, and they can be good for 2 or 3 games in a row. But then you can't be comfortable seeing them go out there because they're not going to give up 1 run, and you might be able to get that back. Like a lot of times they're giving up 2 and 3 in the inning, and then it's just the game's out of hand.
Yeah, they just, okay, when it's, for example, let's say it's 6-4. You're like, okay, we can do this. But I'm looking at who's up next in the 9th or the 8th and 9th. We can do this 6-4. But then freaking Box of Burgers comes out and all of a sudden it's 9-4. And you're like, well, can't hit a 5-run homer. So
Right.
like, I mean, you could manufacture that kind of, it's just harder to 5-run inning, but, and then, so yeah, bullpen is terrible, but then, game 4, Stroh kind of blows. He was fine until like, what was it? The 6th. Then he gives up 3 home runs.
He really wasn't terrible in the game. It literally three home runs. That was everything against him. It's just that when they go out, when those are the 3, like it's just 3 hits, Danny. It just happens that those 3 went out, and I don't know. I thought he was doing okay outside of
until he wasn't. Yeah. That's how that goes. But then now here's my other question, and I don't know what David Ross's fascination with Nicky Two Strikes is, but it was a true day off for Ian Happ, I guess, on Sunday, but the Cubs managed to load the bases, and so they could get to a point. It's 7-3 was the final. Okay. So who do you want up? Is it somebody can hit a home run? You tie this damn game, but instead, no, they just left Ian Happ on the bench because it's a true day off. He can't take one freaking at bat. You just what?
How hungover was he?
Right.
Hey man,
I mean, we've all seen Anthony Rizzo on a day off. Come on.
It's not even that he was hungover, still drinking.
Yeah, that was.
Again, we've all seen Anthony Rizzo take those at bats.
Yeah,
but Anthony Rizzo, he will go out there and try and hit a homer for you when he's drunk.
Yeah, he'll go out there, swing as hard as he can, and end up on one knee 3 times, either strike out or actually do it. There's either way, we didn't get the chance to find out if Ian Happ could do it because he let Nicky 2 strikes up there. And I want to say something before I forget about it later, because I will, is that Nicky 2 strikes batting up against Hader in yesterday's game at the end of that night. I mean, just one of the most overmatched things I've seen in a while. It's like, I think Nicky 2 Strikes is still swinging at that pitch. Like
that's like a schoolyard bully going up against a kindergartner.
Yeah, it is. No, it
Really
really is. Come here, kid. Give me your lunch money. I mean, that's really what it was. And it was just, I didn't like that at bat either. I felt like it was a Grandpa Lossy situation as well. It's like you got these bench bats. And more importantly, I'm thinking about, I want to talk about it in the next segment of like, once again, we'll pound the drum. And people, you probably noticed on Twitter, are starting to joining the drum of the get Morel up here, get Mash Mervis up here, because they're seeing what Velasquez is doing. And like, I was like, oh, he hit a home run going back to back today. Oh, he's going back to the minors, no doubt. We can't have that. That kid's showing up the veterans.
Why do we keep running the keep the better players in the minors play? I don't understand.
It boggles my mind.
Like, you don't even have service time as an excuse anymore. We're past the date.
We're
Yeah.
past the date,
We're beyond
and
it.
these guys have options. Like, even if you don't want, all right, like, let's say Rios on the team, okay? Like, he's supposedly like a dude that can play first and third and hit home runs sometimes. But
I
wouldn't
honestly
know.
don't know because we've never seen that.
Yeah, we've never seen him. He's got like 5 at bats on the year or something. Like, it's what are we doing?
We're playing Nick Madrigal instead. That's what we're doing.
Every day, no matter what, no matter the matchup. You got one of the top closers in the major leagues and Josh Hader out there. Nicky Madrigal's your guy to get on. No, he's not. He's literally still swinging at strike 3 right now. He's on the team plane being like, I don't know what happened. I'm still swinging at that pitch. So slow. So that's how that pretty much ended. And Stroh got his 69th loss up against 69 wins. So Bill Sugas with a good point here because they are unproven in the majors. Minor league pitching is minor league pitching. Look at the rookie of the year from the Cards woes. I actually that's Jordan Walker, right? He actually wasn't doing that bad compared to some of our guys.
Yeah.
Like they just really he was like batting like 270 or something like that when I looked it up. I actually have it up.
I mean,
just for fun while you were doing
they're
that.
unproven in the majors, put them in the frickin' majors and let them prove themselves.
Yeah, here's what the guy who sent down.
You can't learn how to hit major league pitching if you don't get major league at bats.
Yeah, I totally agree. Now, if he's trying to work, I mean, what is he working on? And obviously nothing because Christopher Morel has 10 home runs, but we'll talk about that in a second. But listen to what Jordan Walker's line that got his ass sent down is. Now, he's 274 average, OBP 321, slugging 397, 718 OPS. That's what got him sent. That's not that bad for like a rookie in the major leagues. He's not even striking out that much.
That's not that bad for anybody, really. I mean, you get over an 800 OPS and you're like in elite territory. So if he's in the 700s and it's his first year, I mean,
what's that dude's position? I don't even know him.
Yeah, one good week and he's like right there, right? So he got demoted, but I think they have other reasons, probably because he got in a fight with Wilson Contreras or something. No, you got to get out of it. We can't have this the Cardinal way. But David Elliott says, but they need at bats every day, as if the NL does it. I don't think he wants to get you started on the DH, but but no, it's true. There are at bats for these guys, but let's get to that in the second segment. Let's talk a little bit about the Padres. Can we get a poem? Because
sure,
because I love poetry. This is like a poetic show. We had Sandra on, and I want you to tell us too in a little bit how that poetry reading is. But first, I need a poem from you.
All right, Cubs versus Padres. Pods come into Chicago, fistful of dough, looking to get hot, but everybody froze. Cubs with 4 straight, California dreaming, went 6-8 on the Gold Coast gleaming. Word to your mother, steel blanking fathers, gets the good rucker, Wilson shouldn't bother. Cold again, game 2, Smiley's got a bruise, Mancini hit a bomb, but a loss goes to Hughes. Rubber game on the Wez, a solo from Machado. Dansby off the slump, 2 in a row, Hosmer Nelly flow. Meatloaf on the plane, headed down south to slap Bartman out that Marlin mouth.
That's great. Nice. I'll snap that. Yeah, it was cold. It was quite cold in Wrigley Field. I will say those night games on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, I should say. Man, that I will say, like I was on the bleachers one night, and then the other night we were in the bowl, and it was. I mean, my toes were cold. Like we were standing out of the corner. I'm like, I have to go home. I need a hot shower, and it took a while for my get feeling back in my hands and everything. Like it was one of the colder games I've attended.
Oh, I went to the Hawkeyes versus Nebraska like Friday night. Me and Alex went, and Yeah, we made it through the 5th, and we had to go. It was too freaking cold. We were dying sitting there. So I know it's too early in the year for night games.
But I tell you this, I mean, so the Gomes game, it didn't hurt him at all. Steele, he might be the best pitcher on this team.
Yep.
He's definitely going through one of the best stretches I've ever seen. And I don't know. I've got this. I've got this picture of him that he signed, and when I played him a song at Club 400 with Stuart McVicker, and I got this signed picture of him, and I was gonna use it as a prize, but I was like, this dude could win the Cy Young. I'm like, I'm gonna wait and see what happened because this could get to be a much better prize by the end of the year.
Right.
I'm like, I think I'll hold on to this one and see what kind of prize it will make. I'm so impressed by him, and the Cubs had it shut out, and man, we hammered freaking Juan Soto in the outfield from the bleachers. We just hammered him because he's off to a rough start, really rough, and he struck out a bunch in this series. Did he even have one hit? I don't even know if he had a hit.
I don't know. I'd have to look, but the whole crew of, very highly paid young stars outside of Xander Bogaerts are underperforming so far this year. And I don't think that's going to keep going, but right now, they're struggling.
They're off to a pretty rough start. I mean, but here's the question. Do the Padres make the playoffs? I mean, Arizona got off to a good start. Pittsburgh's in first place in the, but the NL West, when I rode my bike up there on Tuesday and I was locking my bike up, they were doing the announcements of the Padres lineup, and they're like, Xander Bogaerts, Manny Machado, Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis. And I was like, holy shit. Like, these guys are superstars. Like, I want to see this team. And then that very night that I had that thought, they got shut out by Justin Steele. And I was like, maybe it's one of those situations. And I know I've told this story on the show before about the Broadway show of Spider-Man, where they got everybody great to make this Spider-Man show. Like, you already got Spider-Man. Everybody already loves Spider-Man, so it's going to be a hit. They got Julie Taymor from The Lion King and a ton of other stuff at the top of her game. Does amazing work with puppetry and things like that. So they spent millions of dollars on a fly system, so it's like Peter Pan on freaking steroids. And then they got freaking Bono from U2 to write all the music, and then they workshopped it for 2 years, and then there were injuries and problems and script holes and rewrites, and Bono couldn't write a musical song to save his life. So with all these stars on the team, they managed to create a flop. And I just wonder about the Padres, if they just are they gonna look at the White Sox?
Yeah, I mean, White Sox are brutal right now, way worse than the Padres. But yeah, it could be a situation where, they have too many big dogs in the house, and they all want to, they all want to maybe be the top dog. I don't know. That's a possibility. They're just not getting on the same page.
I do want to say that it is still April.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting a little
and Danny, you're talking about we're
saying, hold on, the Padres might lose out to the literal Arizona Diamondbacks. Name 3 Arizona Diamondbacks.
The Diamondbacks are only 2 games ahead of San Diego. They're at 14-12. San Diego's at 13-14 in third, a half game behind the Dodgers, who are at 13-13. That's actually a very close division, and they could absolutely win that division. If the Dodgers are falling off, I don't trust the Diamondbacks to keep it going the whole year. So then you're looking, you're really looking at San Diego and the Dodgers at the end, I think.
Again, yeah. Well, and you, as I said, as I heard that lineup, and I think it was the best case scenario that we could think about for the Cubs, and that if they could finish the month, which we're almost at the end of, as a 500 team, and you've played these powerhouses before they really get their crap together, then maybe you can make more out of what you have. And so, but that makes me want to question our own team, who are all like, these guys are pretty darn good. This is going great. Really, like, is it going to continue? Like, is Jan Gomes isn't going to bat like 400? You know what I mean?
Well, the old saying is, you cannot win the division in April, but you can lose it.
Yeah,
so
and we're not losing it. Yeah, we're not losing the division.
Cardinals are losing it. They are doing really bad, and the Cubs are not losing it. They are in a position to win it at the end.
Can you put that back up? Oh yeah, from David Elliott. Oh yeah, here it is. Get out. This is for IFG. Get from David Elliott. Get out of here with your logic and patience, IFG. We only like hot panic takes on the show. Yeah, it's true. It's the mate. Once again, it's the yerba mate hyping me up.
Speaking of sort of hot takes and stuff, I do kind of have to look. I was all over the Smiley thing coming into this season. Why didn't Smiley, get in the bullpen or whatever? And I was saying Assad should have gotten that spot. Well, I was wrong. Assad is fine, but he has not been able to figure it out this season in the big leagues. And every time he's out there, he goes 3 innings, he gives up 2 runs or whatever. It's not going well for him. And Smiley, despite the first horrendous start, figured something. And maybe that first start was him doing the exact same thing he's doing right now, but it just wasn't working, And now it's working, and that knuckle curve sinker combo is just amazing. And hey, sometimes you don't get them all right.
Yeah, well, and
I just got to get out there on that, because I know that I was like, fuck these guys. They did it wrong. And now I'm kind of eating crow.
God, I hope they don't listen to my podcast from 3 weeks ago when I was railing on this guy. So, I mean, and maybe I have a feeling I will still be railing, because this is kind of what you do. You yell at the manager. But Grandpa Lossie in game 2, and I don't like a certain sequence of something that happened. We spent a little time on Ball Hawk Corner talking about this, and this was the Padres in their 7th inning last night on Tuesday or Wednesday night.
Yeah. And this was the Alzolay. This was the Alzolay to Hughes transfer.
Correct. Yeah. So Ha-Seong Kim singles to start the inning. This is Alzolay's 2nd inning of work. So he goes back out there to see what's going to happen, but he gives up a single to the first guy, Ha-Seong Kim. Then immediately there's a lefty coming up, Trent Grisham. Okay. Now Trent Grisham is batting he's got like a 330 OBP, but he's batting like 220 or something like that.
Yeah.
So, and I know that Alzolay splits against lefties are not good. So, but Ross, this is what the book says. He ran out there and he went, and maybe this is the right move. Go get Hughes to face the lefty, but it doesn't work. He walks Grisham. So he didn't do his job. I get that. Then there's a sacrifice bunt, 2nd and 3rd. Now you have the top of the order on in Fernando Tatis Jr., who's in, and I should mention that the Cubs were winning this game at 3-2 at this point.
Yeah, they had a 1-run lead.
I look at Rafael sitting there in the stands and I say, pitch around him or walk him. So maybe they were trying to pitch around him. He just left one over the plate. I don't know. But he gets a single and then 2-run score, 4-3. Now we're losing and we end up losing. But then here's my problem with it. Juan Soto, the lefty, is up next. So, and Juan Soto is having a terrible start to his year. Just load the bases and set up the double play, because I know not the same thing. A lot of people are yelling at me on Twitter. Well, not the same thing would have happened. I'm like, I know that. But Juan Soto grounded out to the first baseman. That's at least a force out at home, maybe even a double play if you don't nail Soto in the back from the catcher, or But then then you had to use Michael Rucker. He comes in and replaces Brandon Hughes. Finally, Manny Machado flies out, and like the damage wasn't that bad for a promising start for the Padres. But like I pinned that, like I know it wasn't working out like his original plan. Let's go to the lefty. But then it didn't work out further. And so when it didn't work out further, that's where I feel like Ross fucks up. He's like, no, we had this plan and he faces him and he faces him and that's how it's going to be. But he did. But the moment that Hughes didn't do his job and walked the lefty, and I know you got to leave him in there for 2 more, freaking think ahead. Like think of,
Well, here
then when
was
the fun happens, like now it's a new thing,
here was my issue with this whole situation. Alzolay should not have come out into the 7th inning. And what it feels like is that they told him, you're getting 1 batter. You're getting Ha-Seong Kim. That's it. We're pulling you no matter what. But why do that to Hughes? Like, just let Hughes start the inning. And I'm not saying it's better or worse, but he doesn't inherit a runner. I mean, he could have inherited an out, but that's not how it worked. I don't know. I don't like the idea of this. Like, we're going to put you out there for one hitter, no matter what, because that feels like you're not actually paying attention to the game. You're trying to make something happen. That doesn't really make sense.
Bill says, is it really Ross's plan? It looks scripted. What do you think,
If not Rossi, then who?
Hoyer
and yeah, just like here's the
Carter.
The entire
what's his name, who was at the game and talking to Shambi and JD for
what's it called?
An hour and a half.
No, maybe you know this from working at Driveline, but what's the like the run prevention coordinators, or what's that called? They're
called run prevention coordinators.
Is that what they are? Yeah. Well, Bill's got a different name for it. The analytics geeks.
Yeah.
Which I'm all fine with that.
Ultimately, Rossi is the one who makes the decisions on the field. So,
well, that's what we hope. But this was one of those things where,
like, the analytics guys aren't there in the dugout pointing at the ref and saying, "No, this guy." Like,
no, but they could have called.
He literally has the power to stop stupid things from happening.
Yeah, but maybe he doesn't. Maybe they're like, because do you remember when like Madden got in trouble?
Fire him. He's got a contract. Like, just do your damn job, Ross.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's what I'm wondering. It all looks so businesslike to me too. Like, so when he says it looks scripted, it all looks like very by the book to me. It's like, maybe they had a meeting and said, "Hey, no more Fulmer in the 9th for a bit," because things change. But and that's my point is like, as things change, sometimes they change so quickly that you have to really react in that moment. And sometimes maybe you will make a bad decision, but we use the starters aren't going that deep right now. And maybe that's by design as well. But my God, it's like, I really would like to, maybe we need a better bullpen, or, that could be part of it. Like, but like, I'm just so sick of these guys going out there. Cause it's not like, you don't want to, I don't know. They'll figure it out. Go get Chafin.
My buddy Dave Elliott again says Rossi might have that power, but he won't use it. And that is exactly my point. If you have somebody who has power and will not use it, they are literally useless to me.
Yeah.
Well, but he could totally have the power and be willing to use it. But like, they call down to him and they're like, or he gets a little text or something. He's like, "Hey, these are the numbers on Alzolay and Kim that we like." He gets to make the decision, but they're giving him this thing, and he's looking at it like,
I don't know what that means, but sure.
Oh yeah, I don't either. I don't know what it means, but it seems like what they want. Or maybe he looks at it and he goes, "Yeah, that's how it'll work. Let's do it."
Well, and also like the cold weather too. I think that makes a difference. Wasn't just because if Alzolay's coming out there for 1 inning and then he has to go sit in the dugout and then he's freezing and then he has to go back out there. he's tightened up a little bit. And I don't know what I'm really talking about, but it seems to me that Brandon Hughes going out there, having a chance to warm up, settle himself there on the mound is a lot better than him coming in the middle of an inning and, basically walking the first guy he sees. But what was that quote that you put up?
That was
from
that
Bill
was our
again.
our good buddy Bill Sugas says.
I'm sorry, we keep
we're
canceling our
fighting
shit.
over
It's like when somebody's outside the car and you're trying to unlock it.
Yeah. Stop pressing the button. Stop hitting the handle. Or is Ross, Bill says, or is Ross just a poor manager that doesn't know what he's doing? Yeah, I mean, obviously a baseball guy, baseball brain, catcher. I mean, we all had him pegged for a manager at the time, but he never had any experience managing until he was the Cubs manager. And then it was like weird COVID year and stuff. And I mean, everybody's complaining about his bullpen usage, but it's only because our bullpen keeps pulling games. We'll stack him. If you can give me a lockdown if you got the lead, which they did in a couple of these games, or at least the tie. I just don't like losing homestands. You win one that you didn't lose. And
I think if you did a survey, you would find the fan bases of 30 Major League Baseball teams would prefer a better bullpen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's absolutely.
You got to use the tools that you have, and if you're not making the decisions to use the tools, then.
And I feel like they put together like pretty good bullpens and I've been pretty happy with the usage up until now, and that's with worse teams. Yeah. But now that it's better, I'm like, man, I feel like
they're playing better teams and making dumber decisions.
Yeah. Can't have it all ever, I guess. You can
only have two of the three, right?
And I see some of the bloggers out there being like, Cam Sanders and, Jeremiah Estrada's up with the team now. And we'll talk about him in a second, too, in the closer conversation. But
yeah, I remember seeing him like 4 days ago, and I haven't seen him since.
Yeah, I mean, you're just working him in. He's the Alex Rios of pitchers. So, and then today in the bleachers, I mean, we took the rubber game from the Padres. Great game. Dansby Swanson hit a basket shot. And then Hosmer and Nelly went back to back.
About time.
Yeah. Yeah, that was Swanson's first, right?
Yep. It really feels like that should have happened earlier, but it's apparently 24 hours before his first home run last year. So I guess he's on schedule for him.
Yeah, Joe Girardi keeps pointing out that he only hit in April he hits like 1 or 2. So it's not like a crazy thing that he's not hitting right now, or home runs at least.
Right. Well, it was nice to see it. It was kind of like a surgical easy game today. It felt like all the things that went wrong with the bullpens in that Dodgers series went right in this game. And I was like, oh, okay. So, that's just kind of like baseball. Box of burgers ended up closing it out. And, but I guess I have to shout out Josh Oberheide, and I got to shout out Rafael and Haisa, and also David Lieb, who gave me a ticket that's Goalie Dad on our Patreon on the Discord, if you don't know. But it was fun seeing all the ranters. Also, Jeremiah Weller was around. He was around during the Dodgers series. So the ranters they're coming out, and some of them are even buying me beer. So it's great. So it was just great to see everybody and have a good time and just be with all of you. And anyway, thanks for saying hi, and I enjoyed everything about it, especially the Padres series. Especially today was a beautiful day out there. Finally got a little sunshine. Felt pretty good about it. And anyway, let's do a little rakes, flakes, throws, and blows, and take our first commercial break, which probably should have happened about 25 minutes ago, but here we are.
On schedule as always.
On schedule as always, yeah. This train is running late, so let me give you the drop for this one.
Today I'm going to show you how to rake.
Who's raking?
Who's raking?
And I'll put up some stats too while you read this, so people can kind of follow along. Because I got you. You just did last 7 days, right?
Yeah, we're just doing last 7 days.
Right.
And I unfortunately didn't have the thing. There we go. So, the rake last week was really easy. It was Patrick Wisdom. This week, we got Jan Gomes. He's got 2 home runs. He had a 4-for-4 game. Mancini has 2 home runs as well. Both are hitting over 1,300 OPS this week. But I'm actually going with Nico Horner, whose OPS is about 300 points lower than these guys, but still over 1,000. Nico has just as many hits and homers as Gomes this week, but he's got 6 more RBI. And the only reason he's got a lower OPS is probably because he's got 7 more plate appearances. He's actually right now, and he's been doing this the whole season. This week he hit 348. Well, his season is 340 batting average, and he's got 35 hits this season so far. He is in 4th place in the major leagues and only 2 hits behind the leader, Ronald Acuna Jr. Like,
Dang.
Nico Horner is the guy right now. He's the best player on this team at the moment. And I don't know. Look, if you're wondering, and I think we talked about this a while back, whose jersey do we get on this team? I say it's Nico Horner. If you're looking for a jersey, that's the one. But what do you think? What do you think about Nico versus some of those other guys?
I don't buy player jerseys, so I think this is a question for IFG. Who would you buy? But you like back.
I just meant in general about the. I just meant in general about the hitting, but sure.
Sure. I'm probably not buying a Trey Mancini jersey. I'm probably not buying a Jan Gomes jersey unless he steals home. In which case, like if a catcher steals home, then I buy a jersey. That's just the rules.
Wait, how many of those jerseys do you have?
I have PJ Higgins.
Okay, you got one. Okay. I'm like, wait a second.
He hit a grand slam. He hit his first home run while I was in the bleachers. He hit a grand slam and he stole home. I was like, okay, I'm buying a jersey. That's it. I don't care if he's not on the team for 5 more minutes. And now he's an Arizona Diamondback and he's leading the league. So, the divisions for like the next 5 minutes. But anyway, not important. So probably not buying a Trey Mancini because he's going to be here for 10 minutes. Nico is a good choice. I mean, I probably should have a Nico Horner jersey. That's the correct decision. If you're going to buy a jersey for somebody who's going to be here long enough that you're not going to have to trade that in for another jersey, it's going to be Nico.
Yeah.
I'm still seeing kind of the old guys in the bleachers, out in the stands. I saw Zorilla today. I saw Zorilla today.
Oh, the little league jersey.
Yeah, I think that was it
I
for
like
that?
those.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it all.
I'm glad I didn't get one.
I don't know. They told a big long story about Nico today and about where he came from and when he got called up and all this stuff. And they said the whole thing. And at no point did they mention that Theo Epstein over and over and over wanted to send his ass down because he didn't have enough at bats at lower levels.
Yeah,
So-
well, they by the books, 600 plate appearances or nothing, and I think the Cubs are still like that, like we're seeing that with the young guys that we've been mentioning.
But Nico's never done anything except for just be good and actually get better every single year. Yeah.
So how about do you have a flaker?
I do. This one's
I haven't worried about flakes since my grunge days. Remember them?
So I actually did this morning before the game, and my flaker this week is Dansby Swanson.
Well, he only hit 1 home run. It's like not that big a deal.
Yeah, well,
That was barely even a home run. It's a home run in like 2 ballparks.
I think he had 2 hits. I think he had 2 hits today, but 1 was a homer. But yeah, he was 1 for 19 with 4 walks in 23 plate appearances this last week before today. But just 0.53 batting average. Not good. Just ugly.
Yeah, he raised that to 130 this week with today. So because I've got today's stat, like after the post game, and if you did it before the game, that but small sample sizes, people.
I
But
just thought
still,
it was
that's
really funny that I put him in the flakes, and then he hits his first home run of the year.
still pretty bad. But
you know what? You know what I miss, and I'm just so mad at Elon Musk for this. He messed up the Twitter API thing, and now we don't have that fantastic Would It Dong account, so that we know exactly how many ballparks that actually counted as a home run in.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
There's a site I think you can see that, but who's got the time for web?
Well, we can't find it anymore because it's not on Twitter. So
right, like
on
that's
Twitter,
what Would It Dong
you
was
find
for. Like I wanted to know, this is a unicorn. It's only a home run at Wrigley Field.
It's like when
Yeah.
you lose your phone and you find out that you need a whole new family and all new friends because you can't get a hold of them anymore.
So yeah, Dansby Swanson, I'm putting up his numbers on the air, and everybody remembers the hot start. It really has come down pretty much since his wife got hurt. He must be worried. I don't know, or
he had a
maybe
bad stretch right after that, and then in LA he got back on track a little bit.
Yeah,
But
it's a baseball week, and it's things go up and down. But he's got a 752 OPS, and yeah, of course you'd like to see the power go because he had over 27 home runs or something like that last year.
Yeah, I think he had 27, but that was the best of his career too. But if he can hit home runs like he did today, he might he might get there.
Well, he's going to have to start picking up the pace if we're going to get to even 20 at this point. So, because right now he's on pace for like 6. Okay, so let's go, Dansby. Pick up the pace. How about we have a
throw it up,
a thrower? Yeah, I'm just looking for the thing. Throw.
My hands to the Lord.
Throw it up there.
My throws this week is, Drew Smiley, of course. He embarrassed the Dodgers with 7 perfect innings and ultimately only giving up the single hit in 7 2/3 innings because, yes, Yan Gomes tackled him. Pretty impressive, though, that even after the tackle, he went out there and got 2 more outs, including his 10th strikeout of the day. So I was really impressed. So, hey, he's at and he pitched good in the loss. Hughes lost that game. He had a win when he left. He was in line for the W, but got a no decision instead.
Yeah,
I think they were back-to-back homers on him though. But still, it's like back-to-back solo shots. If that's all you give up, then you're still in a good position to win the game. Yeah.
And they didn't.
And, I also could have given this to Justin Steele because, as you were saying earlier, Danny, he's probably the best pitcher on this team. He's really good right now.
Yeah, it's been awesome. All right, here's your blower.
Just put your lips together and blow.
Yeah, this is definitely going to Michael Fulmer.
Yeah, no, he blew it twice.
Yeah, in addition to bemoaning Smiley at the beginning of the season, I thought Fulmer was a bad choice too. Then he came out and only gave up 1 run in his first 6.1 innings, and I thought, man, I don't know what I'm looking at. But since then, he's given up 8 runs in 4 innings. Since that good start, 8 runs in 4 innings. I think they're all against the Dodgers, by the way.
Yeah, the grand slam really hurt you.
Yeah. So, and to be fair, those 4 were in 2 games.
Yeah. Well, you take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the Chicago Cubs.
But the problem with him is you just never know what you're going to get. He goes out there and it's just flipping a coin.
So we're going to take a quick break, grab some water, and take a tinkle.
I'm gonna take this dog outside so
I hear that dog. The dog needs to take a tinkle, but stick with us, and we're gonna come back and make fun of the Cardinals, which I'm really looking forward to. And so we'll see you on the other side. Also, we are giving away this is a commercial for Patreon. We are giving away this fabulous Wilson Contreras poster drawn by Matt Kammer tonight. So if you join our Patreon at patreon.com/Ranto, you could win it tonight. So Stick with us, and we'll be right back.
All over Chicagoland, there are thirsty, frazzled, overworked Cubs podcasters who are struggling to survive one more baseball season in the dog-eat-dog world of unpaid content creation. But it doesn't have to be this way. You can make a difference. Become a super ranter at patreon.com/sunranto, where your support ensures that poor, sad, pathetic, ugly, loser Cubs podcasters can pay for tickets and beer, and in turn line the pockets of the baseball oligarch Ricketts family. Just $1 a month can buy a scorecard. $5 a month can pay for guitar strings to write a Cubs song. And $10 a month almost buys one beer at Wrigley Field. Cubs content creators are the lowest pieces of pond scum garbage that slither over the face of this planet. But super ranters help them get drunk and screw off at baseball games. What do you get out of it? The Sun Ranto Show delivered to your podcatcher without stupid advertisements like the one you're seeing and hearing right now. Plus, at other Super Ranter levels, you can get Cubs music, access to private Sun Ranto pages, the Ranter calendar, and special thanks and Ranter recognition in our live broadcasts, plus eligibility for monthly prizes. What does Sun Ranto get out of it? Your money. For tickets and beer. Go to patreon.com/sunranto. That's patreon.com/sunranto. And become a super ranter today.
Welcome back to the Sun Ranto Show. And I want to start by saying welcome back almost to Kyle Hendricks. Did you see Hendo's almost back?
Yeah. I put that on the Cubs pod that he got a start today. I did not see it, though.
Yeah, well, let me tell you all about it. It went great, as you might imagine. Like, you know, he's raring to go, because this tweeted out by Alex Cohen. Follow him at Voice of Cohen 2. He's the broadcaster for the Iowa Cubs. Really nice guy, too. So he lost his Twitter recently. I guess that was probably Voice of Cohen 1. And this is Voice of Cohen 2. So go follow him. He lost all his followers. Anyway, the final line for Kyle Hendricks in Iowa today was 1.2 innings pitched, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 strikeouts, which that's pretty good. You know, he's striking guys out. At least half the guys he faced, he struck out, and 1 walk. But, you know, not a great line when you look at kind of how that that started. But he said the good news is the fastball topped out at 89.3 miles per hour. He looked healthy, and it was the first outing for Hendricks in almost 10 months, and it's going to be a process. And so he's not ready. I guess they're still targeting mid-May, which gives him, what, 4 more starts?
Yeah. Well, so it's 5 earned runs, 6 hits, but you got to look at this like, what is it? Like a spring training, right? Like,
yeah.
What are they working on? They're not trying to win this game necessarily. With him, he's trying to throw and put the ball over the plate, like throw strikes. You know, I'm sure they went, don't work around anybody. Just get out there, throw strikes, and let's just see that you have your control and that you have your stuff. Well, I mean, these are professional hitters, and you're throwing them all strikes. You're not really messing with them too much. They're going to love that, and they're going to crank off of it, well, especially when it's 89.3 mile per hour at the highest.
Listen, I was going to rip on it. I started like a tweet in my head. I was like, oh, yeah, let me get on this and like make fun of Hendo and be like, oh, we're sunk. This is like, oh, we can't wait for Hendo. This is awful. But I just imagined all of the meatball Cubs fans that would be on my ass immediately, be like, oh, you can't read anything into this. It's his first start back. It's a rehab start. Don't you know anything, idiot? I'm like, you know what? I don't think I want to deal with all the meatballs right now, because I just get, even if I am making a joke. But what happened to Michael Cotton? He just
his video just died.
His video died. He ended up, he's probably, I don't know, something happened with his electricity or his, I don't know. Well,
there he is.
I'm here. Hold on. I'm having some issues.
How was your trip to outer space, spaceman?
I just realized we match.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
you got to go.
Well, I'm
Oh,
wearing
yeah.
my.
Yeah, you're in some throwbacks. I just got my IFG jersey going.
I got my '69 Santo.
Yeah.
Nice.
Either way, you're both rode in and up, and I'm wearing, for the podcast listeners, a tie-dye hoodie. Also a Cubs hoodie, though, at the very
I like
least.
it.
Yeah. Actually, I got this hoodie from Lids on a suicide sale back in December, and when I and I remember talking to the manager, being like, "God, these deals are amazing." You know, I'm going in there with armloads of stuff because I'm getting it off for like 70% off. And anyway, that guy contacted me today and took 2 tickets that had been given to me that I just put out on Twitter that I had. And it's the manager from the Lids. He's like, "I remember talking to you. So I followed you on Twitter. And I'm glad I saw these tickets." So he used the tickets that I had, the extra tickets I had today. And he went in there. He's like, "Yeah, come in and take my employee discount anytime you want." So now
He's like, I've got like 12 of those tie-dye shirts still at the Lids store. You can have all of them.
Come on in. You have the exactly employed. But now I'm imagining 70% off plus the employee discount next freaking January.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm going to
He's
start
just
my own
got-
business.
He's got those dollar signs in his eyes.
Anyway, it's good news that Hendo's coming back, and it makes me wonder what they're going to do with him, because it really is going to be upon us sooner than later, mid-May, end of May.
It'd be great if he was ready now because Tyone went down.
And we don't know what's up with that. But then Wisniewski, he was better today. He really fought in battle. I felt like he figured a few things out today after he's been bad. So, I mean, you know how they say some of these things have a chance of way of working themselves out.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to really go back and look at Wisniewski's pitches. I was working during the game, had the game on, but I'm really interested in how hard he throws, because it seems like whenever he gets up in the 94, 95 range, that's when he was getting shelled. It's like he's overthrowing and taking movement off the ball just because it's just going a little bit too fast and it just can't catch something.
From the analytics guy that brought you Drew Smiley predictions.
I know, but I've also I've had every Drew Smiley start this year on Cubs Pod, and I've been clocking all these like knuckle curves and sinkers and all that stuff too. I'm starting to get more into like what is each pitch doing, and it's interesting, but it's not like advanced stats. Sometimes guys throw too hard and the speed's there, but it takes away the movement.
Yeah, it would be interesting to look at. Well, Wisniewski, they're going to be careful with him anyway, just because he's young. But here's what he gave you today: 5, and this is a tough lineup. As you know, it's a really tough lineup. 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. So he's not striking guys out like he was last year, but so he's not fooling people. They said he was working on that sweeper pitch. Maybe that has something to do with it all. Yeah, I mean, so the movement is different on it. Maybe it's more sweepy.
Yeah,
Well,
horizontal rather than vertical for the slider.
He was pitching so good last year, and they fixed him for this year, which is awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
they're like, it would
So
be
much
great
better.
if we just made you even better than you were last year, which was amazing.
But I
And
think-
everybody thinks that's a great idea until they try to enact those different things that they're asking them to do.
But I could definitely see a situation in which he goes down in less of a pressure situation. He gets a little bit more taste of the majors. That when Hendo comes back, assuming Tyone is back at that point, maybe he's the guy on the bubble. Terry E says in the chat, according to Boog, Wisniewski is better under 92 miles per hour when wearing red cleats.
I'm so glad the chat is here to tell me what Boog is talking about, because I believe my brain has just filtered the sound of his voice out.
Oh my God.
I don't listen. I don't know how you guys do it.
I don't. I have not processed a word that has come out of that man's mouth all season.
I wish I had that selective listening.
Yeah, no, he's been deep into the shoes this
I keep
this
saying
series.
I keep saying the biggest thing that bothers me about Boog is that there's nothing in his voice that tells me to stop ignoring him and pay attention to the screen.
Well,
Yeah,
no, let's
there's
let's
no
take
difference.
let's take a page from the Bible of Boog and talk about our shoes. I'm wearing some Javi Crocs with paint all over them.
Oh.
Crocs.
I got
That's
my Cubby
hysterical.
Blue Crocs.
Yeah.
Oh God, we just lost Patreon people right there.
My
They're like,
my
not
grandmother
fucking
had a
supporting
Japanese wife. I don't wear shoes in the house.
These are Crocs. They're not shoes. It's a whole different category.
and I'm not in my house.
Yeah, it's true. Michael's in jail. So the other thing I want to talk about just real quick, and we already kind of talked about it a bunch, but specifically, I just want to point out that Nelly Flo needs to stay with the major league team. And I know it's going to hurt some, but there's a myriad of guys that you could, get rid of right away. And maybe they're just waiting to see, like, what happens, like in their 40-man footsie. But they're not playing Rios. So, like, what's the point of it?
Here?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't, who's the catcher guy?
Terrence. I like
Torrens, yeah.
Terrence, though. He's adorable and
Listen,
can serve
this
as
is-
a relief pitcher in a pinch.
This is a third catcher podcast. We have no problem with that. Like, long-time third catcher fans here, but not like this.
Yeah, it's
Teach.
yeah. You do it to improve the team, not whatever they're doing.
Yeah,
he's
It is a
caught
little
one
bit of a
game.
waste roster spot. I'll admit that.
there's not doing
He's
anything.
got
with
like
it.
6 innings or something like that.
I mean, here's the thing: is like, who was that kid they got down in AAA that we saw a bunch? He was at spring training. Dom Nunez.
Oh,
Mhm.
Dom Nunez, that kid, he's like 30 years old.
Whatever,
Yeah.
exactly. So he's got some experience. What's the difference between him down there and coming up and catching a few games? I understand they don't want to get flat-footed because they're 33-year-old catching tandem, 66 years of catching experience between them.
Yeah.
Could not last. It's a long season. Catching's hard. But yeah, I mean, but here's my point. Nelly Flo, he's done nothing but rake when he's at the major league label. I looked up the other day, he was batting 800. And I know it was only like 5 at bats, but I was like, still 800. Like,
It's fun.
Yeah, whenever
It's
you
fun.
look at the stats, he's just right at the top. Like he's leading all the hitting stats because he's only been there for 2 games or some shit. Like, yeah, he should have been there. I just don't understand what the point was to not bring him up when Seiya wasn't there. Like, that's the time he could have actually put together a string of at-bats. And then
Look,
when Seiya
now
comes
it's
back,
Cotton doing logic and reason.
then he's there. And now
what's happening to us?
And now it's like Bellinger goes down for paternity leave and he immediately gets the call up. Are they going to send him back as soon as he's gone?
Absolutely, if not sooner.
Yeah, and let's talk about the glove too. A couple really nice catches today out there. I didn't unfortunately see them because they were up against the wall and I'm sitting over the wall. But
Do we have a camera that points in that direction yet?
yeah, well, exactly. No, my old man Ricketts can't afford it at Marquee. Biblical losses. No, but I did see it on the replay on the big board. But yeah, no, he's playing it. Center field is not easy, and also you're a rook, and you're looking at Hap, he's looking at Seiya, and they're trying to figure it out. I mean, I like everything Nelly Flo's bringing to the table. I know there's holes in his game. I know it's not all going to go great. I know he's not going to bat 800, but
It's fun.
But a roster spot when there's been plenty of at-bats to go around on this team doesn't make sense. And the other one that I don't know what the hell, but Christopher freaking Morel, 10 home runs on the year. So, but 10 home runs. And they started a week later than the Cubs did.
And taking walks. It's not like he's only hitting and striking out. He's taking walks as well. He does strike out still quite a bit, but it's a lot less than you expected.
Listen, we've been banging the drum show after show after show after show on this show. And I feel like finally, because all these other people doing logic and reason, they're telling me for the first 2 weeks of the season that I'm wrong, that he's got to go down there and bake like a freaking sheet of cookies, and then it'll be piping hot and fresh, and they'll pull him out of the oven, let him cool. And, it's just like, that's.
How long does he have to fucking bake?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, literally, what does he have to do to earn his way up?
Yeah, and even if he comes up even if Christopher Morel were to come up and hit 5 home runs, at the major league level, playing different positions and having way more versatility as a fielder, there are at-bats for him on this team. And Nick Madrigal. And that was my first thought. Like, when I watched Nick Madrigal go up against Josh Hader as the third baseman, or no, he was a pinch hitter.
He was a pinch hitter.
He was a pinch hitter at that point. And it could have been Morel. And if what am I missing?
I would have had a whole lot more fun watching Morel strike out.
And
like,
Morel
if I'm going to watch somebody strike out, I would rather watch Morel do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Morel can also play center field. We watched him do it last year.
Yep.
Not great at it, but he can play it. Third base, he has twice the arm of Madrigal. And apparently there's a thing that they started doing a year or so ago called the DH. And you don't have to pick one guy to be your DH. You can let anybody do it at any time. And so they could just keep doing that for him.
I got a revolutionary idea, and I really hope that Jed is watching. But what if they used the designated hitter as a position with but you used like a really good hitter instead of like a guy like batting 180 or something? Yeah.
You're going to have to give me that one again.
All right.
I'm a National League fan.
So you get a really good player with a lot of power and speed. It's somebody can really knock the cover off the ball, and you use him as the DH instead of what the Cubs have been doing and using a guy like batting, 220 or something.
But Danny, hold on.
Crazy.
They can't
Just
do
might
that.
work.
Think it outside the box.
They can't do that because I've been told for years the reason the DH is great is because it lets old dudes extend their career. So you can't just have anybody come in. They have to be 35 and a power hitter from 1983.
But we have an Edwin Rios that's not doing anything.
Yeah. Except for DH like once a week in the end of the game when Rossi likes the matchup.
Right. A DH that's actually a PH.
Yeah.
And you didn't need the DH for it.
Yeah, I would like to know at the end of this year, and Cotton, if you could keep track of this, how many times we've PH'd for the DH.
We can do a secret PH balanced for DH.
We could do a bad middle-aged white guy rap song about it. DH for the PH.
That's good because
DH
that's probably our Clubhouse's Spotify playlist.
Yeah. Isn't it? I know, God. Isn't it Christian rap?
Exactly.
Isn't it secret like deodorant that's like pH balanced for a woman or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah, pH.
That's secret.
That secret deodorant.
We can just have a segment where we give somebody a stick of secret every time they use the pinch hitter for the DH.
And now you're blowing the budget. So
I know secret's expensive for deodorant.
I do want to talk about the fact that the Cubs don't have a closer. We already kind of talked about it with the lack of bullpen, but let's talk about that on the Discord afterwards. So anybody that's a Patreon member, we're going to have our regular post-show chat in just a little bit, and we'll do closer talk over there. I'm curious what people think because I looked around, saw kind of who was available, maybe take a look at that and see what you think they should do. And anyway, we'll talk about it over there. But I do want to point out one thing about actually, I want to just go to commercial break, but I want to preface it by saying that we have got a brand new deal, and I might be even breaking the news to you guys right now, a brand new deal with In the Clutch t-shirts. They are going to be sponsoring my weather reports and this show. So we're going to be giving away every month
Oh, go ahead.
an In the Clutch t-shirt, maybe even every show. I got to actually write them an email. We'll figure it all out. But like we're giving away, but what you got to do is follow In the Clutch and then show me that you followed him. And then you're entered to win in the contest.
I totally forgot. I was supposed to get the people.
Yeah, you were supposed to do it.
I'm supposed to give somebody a t-shirt and totally forgot. There was like 10 people that voted in that thing.
Pick a winner.
Give me 10 names in the Discord and we'll figure it out for the next show.
Yeah, and so anybody that goes and follows In the Clutch t-shirts, that's all you got to do. Just like send me a screenshot and I'll put you on the list of somebody that's eligible to win the t-shirt when we do our competition down the line. Show in the next couple of weeks. But I made a In the Clutch commercial, and it was something I've been thinking about doing for a while. And speaking of bad white boy rap, boy, do I have one for you. This one, all you Chicagoans who were around in the 80s might remember the old Muinoik commercial. You know, it was for a local butcher shop that was actually quite popular, had great spare ribs. But they had a singing and rapping cow and pig, and it was, it was great. Anyway, I kind of based it on that. But here's a commercial for In the Clutch, and it's a minute long, but I think you'll enjoy it. And we'll be right back. Oh, and use promo code Ranto when you use In the Clutch. All right, we'll be right back.
If you like the Cubs a bunch, buy your t-shirts from In the Clutch. We've got all the best styles for you. Dansby, Saya, Morel too. Clark Fly in his W. Cody Bellinger, smoking dupes. Vintage shirts from days of old. Patrick Wisdom and Nico. You'll look sharp wearing your stroll. 10% off with the code SONRANTO. SONRANTO. InTheClutch.com is your store for the most fun baseball shirts on the planet. Don't forget to use promo code SUNRANTO to knock a couple bucks off your purchase. Stack or die, we need more cups. Get it all at In the Clutch. Cause if you like the Cubs a bunch, buy t-shirts from In the Clutch. Get it all at In the Clutch. Get it all at In the Clutch.
So making it.
I'm going to use my Sun Ranto 10% off coupon code to get me a Shonley Fans t-shirt.
I love, all I can think is leave your name, leave your number. that answering machine tape you could buy back in the 80s.
Yeah, totally. Very similar. We each get a free shirt, and she said she's going to be sending them to us very soon. And I must admit, I could not. Bernie Barron got the Bellinger shirt. That's because he hit a 420-foot home run on 420.
On 420. What a guy.
Yeah. And so they made a I don't have it to pull up right now, but but it is in that commercial, but I'll pull it up eventually. But I could not help myself with my In the Clutch choice. And I'm like, I can only wear this probably when I'm playing with the rock band. But I went Clark Fly in the W.
Nice.
I had to do it. I'm like, it's so wrong. And I'm just a fan of things you shouldn't do. And this is one of them. So I got that's what I got. And it's coming. So I can wear it on the show, I think.
Yes, you can.
Because normally, like, you don't see that part of the bear.
Right. The W will be below the camera line there.
I'll stand up and show everybody a few times, just like a little peekaboo, but But anyway, what did you choose, Michael? I forget. You got the Chicago American Giants one?
No. The voters said Shy Feds. So I'm getting a Shy Feds. It was the Saya one was right behind it. But
nice.
Shy Feds is one I'm getting.
Yeah, this is which Saya were you going to get? Because I have the Saya to pull up. That's were you getting the blue one or the black one?
The blue one.
Yeah, that's the one I like too.
That's really nice. It looks like a Japanese postage stamp. A little bit.
Maybe we should all get
it looks great, and I might still get that anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only $20.
I'm getting future Chicago Cubs Shohei Ohtani.
I like the attitude. You know, you start wearing shirts like that while rooting for the Cubs and just put those vibes you're over on there on the West Coast. He's gonna start feeling that, you know. Oh, you know, and I'm feeling some Cubs in the back of my neck.
Right.
A little tingle.
We got some empty spaces in our rotation. We don't have a DH. Come on over, baby. We're making the bed warm for you.
Hey, he could be one of those DHs I was talking about before.
Well, imagine somebody who's actually good at hitting baseballs.
Yeah.
You know, he almost hit for the cycle today. He got 8 strikeouts as a starter and was like 5 feet away from the cycle.
Wow.
God.
I want him on our team so bad. Jed better throw like every single dollar that he did not give to anybody for the last 10 years at Shohei.
It is the worst kind of instant karma that they bring the DH the year that like he just blows up and he's like the greatest. And it's just so fucking frustrating for me. I'm like, I don't know. The baseball gods are out to get me, I think, sometimes.
The whole universe wants you dead. Did I say that, or was that a demon? I'll tell you,
Abstradamus.
Yeah, I want to talk about how terrible the Cardinals have been this year, and it's just like, oh, thank you, lighting change for IFG going with the red. Look at this, and now they won today, so this number's wrong. They're 10-16 now, but that's worse than Cincinnati. I don't know, maybe Cincinnati lost today and they're the same, but either way, it's shocking that Pittsburgh is leading the pack at 18-8 after losing their star prospect, or I guess not a prospect anymore, is actually like a future star at this point, as the old baseball cards used to say. But Pittsburgh 18-8, that's shocking. And then Milwaukee just a couple games behind and Cubs in third. But like St. Louis, 6 games under, and I saw a few headlines, and I'm just going to share a few headlines real quick because they just cracked me up. It makes me so happy to see this shit.
Are these? Oh,
yeah. This is just stuff I saw on Twitter from like newspapers and stuff like ESPN. And this was just a couple days ago. They wrote, the St. Louis Cardinals are now 9-15 through 24 games this season. Their worst 24 game start to a season for the Cardinals since 1973. It's a year before I was even born. And they went 5-19. That was even. I wish I was alive to see that.
And I love the picture there of Arenado just constipated as all hell.
Yeah, just looking like he's got that bat up his butt. And then here's another one. This one from Benjamin Hockman, who writes about the team for St. Louis today. I'm just reading headlines here. Ted Hockman. Wait, how bad? Cardinals were start in 50 years. And then I was like, 50 years? And I'm like, wait, that is 1973. I'm like, wait, I'm almost 50. Because 50 seems like so much when it's like the worst start in baseball. But when it's like how long since you were born, it's like horrifying. So then, happy birthday, Lyle. You're almost 50. Here's another one. Bad vibes continue as Cardinals clinch worst start in a half century.
Oh, man. And they have Chip
really
Carey telling them all about it.
And then we got this one. This one's from a Cardinals fan replying to @Cardinals on Twitter. Cardinals should play the Royals. CU is the worst in baseball and Missouri. I blame ownership for lying about spending. I blame general manager for keeping DeJong, O'Neill, and no pitching. I blame coach for bad coaching. Worst start I have seen as a fan in decades. Like Royals. So that's actually the most articulate man in Missouri. So congratulations for composing that tweet. But yeah, I'm just kind of backing up some like how everybody's feeling, and really I just kind of reveling in the Schadenfreude here. I must admit. And then so I asked on the Ranters page, how everybody was feeling about what they hated about the Cardinals in general, and I enjoyed this. Is Boomer Bill says self-proclaimed best fans of baseball, quote unquote, the Cardinal way, Budweiser taste. Bob Costas, there's things he doesn't like about it. Budweiser taste. Bob Costas slam on Cubs in early 90s. Never forget. Tim McCarver, red color, stupid logo. You know there would be bird shit all over that bat. Living in the past about their championships, to name a few. Matt Kammer, the artist who made the Wilson Contreras that I'm giving away tonight, he says kids that don't remember one Cardinals World Series that like to point out that they have 11 rings. He hates those kids. Wrigleyville Bum says Bob Costas is an ass clown. Seth B. Kennedy says Joe Buck. But Seth also points out one of the most annoying things about the Cardinals, which is their ability to put a consistently competitive product on the field without ever having to tank or reset.
Damn it.
Yeah, it is super frustrating. I am happy that they are in last place, and I really do hope that they just
Stay there.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes, I just want them to be the worst team in baseball. I would be super happy with that. Probably that's the number one dream. But the number two dream is that they miss the playoffs by like one game because they just had a shitty April.
That's
because Wilson Contreras got thrown out of a game in the 5th inning.
Yeah.
We were talking about that today. And, look,
It was the
Danny's
thing.
giving me shit because I'm not down on Wilson Contreras from early in the like preseason, and I'm giving him shit. We're going back and forth. But I do have to say, since the season has started, he's working his way right into like actually deserving to be hated because he's embodied that fucking Cardinal way with some of the dumb shit that he's doing. Him and Mad Bum is a ridiculous.
He's a dick too. Yeah.
Too. But getting in an argument in the middle of the at bat, and then he broke a bat at
I was at that game actually. That was here in Seattle.
Yeah.
The Cardinals the Cardinals had just lost 2 games in a row to the Mariners. The Mariners were trying for a sweep. It didn't happen, but whatever. Wilson had walked twice in that game. Like, he had 2 really good at bats. He had actually walked, and then he was up and swung through strike 3, like ridiculous, swung through a pitch he had no business even trying for. And immediately just turns and slams his bat down on the plate, shatters it into pieces, and storms off and like refuses to clean up after himself, gets his ass thrown out, and starts mouthing off to the umpire. I'm like,
well, no, he wasn't even thrown out until he was in the dugout.
Yeah, he was already in the dugout when he got
yelling at him.
They're like, why aren't you cleaning this up? What are you doing?
I downloaded the TikTok. I'll show it to you real quick, and everybody could see the rage monster that is Wilson.
That bad thing to happen. Swing and a miss, and Contreras shatters his bat. It splits lengthwise.
So he's walking to the dugout with half a bat.
Seattle didn't like that. Little frustration boiling over there for Contreras.
And then right before the pitcher's about to throw the pitch, Wilson got thrown out of the game from the dugout, and then he stayed and got his money's worth.
Yeah. Oh.
So, but that's the kind of thing. I mean, granted, heated in the moment player. We saw that a lot, with him getting hit in Milwaukee all the time because he leans over the plate like a cheater, really. It
was just ridiculous. Like, he had nobody to blame but himself for that. Like, he swung at the pitch. Yeah. It was a full count. He could have walked.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's why he's mad at himself. So he's mad at himself. And he did. I saw one quote it was behind a payroll wall, so I didn't screenshot it. But it was in the little like headlines that you see on Google and stuff. I saw one quote that said, Wilson says to pitching staff, we've got to get angry. And like, that's his advice of how we got to play. And Corey Furlong says, yes, the Cardinal way. But I mean, Yachty was like that too. Like, he was always, in the umpire's face, crying about every fucking thing that happened.
That is the Cardinal way. Arenado is that way. Arenado is a fucking
crybaby.
Like, he is such a dick. And he was a dick in Colorado. And then he went to St. Louis, and he's just a bigger dick. And another thing we talked about today. I feel like Wilson wasn't that bad with the Cubs. Like maybe they were keeping him from going full Wilson. Well, I think we're getting, maybe we're getting full Wilson now, and the dude's just losing his fucking mind.
Well, I'll say this too. Wilson is not doing that bad this year. I mean, he only has the 2 home runs, but Dansby Swanson only has 1. But he's batting .275 with a .370 OBP, .425 slugging, so he's not slugging crazy, but it's good for a .795 OPS right now. But unfortunately, there was that knock at him. Those. I'll put this up real quick. It's just to remind everybody what happened last year with Wilson Contreras and the Cubs pitching staff when they split it between Gomes and Contreras. There was a huge difference with pitchers like Justin Steele, Kyle Hendricks, Adrian Sampson, and Keegan Thompson by as much as a run or two. The only person it was the same with, who was actually better with Contreras, is Marcus Stroman. It's not all going to be on
I will point out that in that game with the Mariners where Contreras got himself thrown out, he was the designated hitter.
So he wasn't even catching.
He was not catching.
No, and
he went all the way to St. Louis to be a DH.
Well, and Michael made the point the other day that
he's catching way more often. I looked at their catching, all their catchers versus all of our catchers, and their backup catcher to Wilson is hitting like 150. Like he's not a good hitter at all. And he's only picked up like
8 games on the year. Yeah. And Wilson's getting 24 games, which he's been out there. I mean, he missed a little bit of time also with an injury that he came back from earlier in the year. But, for a while there, they were like, is it time to worry about Wilson Contreras? And then it wasn't. It was just with one bad week. But either way, Cardinal fans are shaking in their boots. And, you can, if you just like to watch Cardinal fans cry about things, I highly recommend just typing in Wilson Contreras and Cardinals or, into Twitter and just see what you get. Because, it's fun to watch. And I'm ready for him to be the heel. I know that some people are taking longer to transition. Some might never transition, and that's fine with me. But I've been enjoying it. So I don't know. We've kind of beat a dead Cardinal so far.
No, we can continue to beat dead Cardinals.
Yeah, but how about we beat some dead Marlins, shall we? Because that's who we're playing next, and I just want to give everybody a little bit of an idea of what's going to go on. And that the Marlins, they do not score a lot of runs. They got the 4th fewest so far. They don't hit a lot of home runs. They don't walk much, but they do strike out a lot. And we get to see Jorge Soler do some of that. So that'll be nice.
Miss Georgie Sunshine.
Yeah, I love Jorge Soler. So he'll be down there. Hopefully he'll play. And then their bullpen is not that good. And one thing I was looking up recently is when I saw the strikeouts in the bullpen, Cubs are 2nd in strikeouts out of the pen, which was kind of shocking to me. I don't know, it was a surprise. I was like, really? Because it's
Cubs
not
have all sorts of surprising stats. When you look, you're like, I did not see this coming. And this is the last series of April is the Marlins. They could very well win 2 of 3 or even sweep this. Preseason, when this came out and I looked, I would have told you that the Cubs won 5 games. I did not think this was going to happen. I'm very impressed with how they played through this month.
Yeah. So the Marlins are not impressed with how they played through this month. They're a 500 team, which is, I think, more what we thought. But they just lost 3 or 4 to the Braves, and they're sitting in 3rd place. So I would say that we're probably pretty equally matched when all things are considered. Marcus Stroman in game 1, Jesus Lizard, that's what I call him. It's Jesus Lizardo. Yeah, and we're still TBD, and so that's kind of a curious thing. We don't really know who's going to start for the Cubs in game 2. Going up against Cabrera, and that's Edward Cabrera. I know there's a lot of Cabreras. This is Edward Cabrera, and then game 3, which actually starts at 11 in the morning on Sunday morning. So get up. We got Justin Steele again going up against a guy named Hoeing.
IFG just put her hand on her head because out there on the West
9
Coast,
a.m.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
you're still in
That
bed.
means I'm gonna be out of baseball by like noon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like our chances with against Brian Hoeing. He doesn't have a lot of experience in the major leagues, and any experience he has looks pretty bad because he's got a career 11.57 ERA, but that's only in 16 innings pitched. So we do get a day game on Saturday too. It's a 3:05 start, so that's not so bad. But yeah, they Marlins not very impressive so far. So, but we do get to see Jorge Soler, which is it's worth the price of admission as far as I'm concerned.
I'm always happy to see Jorge.
Yeah. So how about and I should mention, because we won't do a show again until next Thursday, that the Nationals are next. We got 4 with DC, so we could make some hay there as well. So that's kind of good. They're I think they're almost as bad as the Cardinals are.
Yeah. I can't remember who's on the team actually right now. So
yeah, I don't even think they know who's on the team.
is Bryce Harper playing again yet, or is he still? Oh
You're
no,
thinking of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. He, like everybody who used to be a
I
Nationals
was
in
like,
Philly.
Bryce
now.
Harper hasn't been on the Nationals.
Juan
for like,
Soto.
I'm
They
out of my mind right now.
Jan Gomes. They used to have a hell of a team. Man, yeah, but it'll be nice. Maybe we get Johnny Onomatopoeia on, which I would like to do. And I want to see if he is, because I won the season series last year. Cubs beat the Nationals. And so he had to fulfill his bet, which was that he had to take a Craigslist job, like a day job off of Craigslist, just on like a random Saturday, like, help an old lady move an armoire or something like that. He had to go do it, and just because he doesn't need the money. He's got a job, It's just more like you have to just go do some weird thing on Craigslist. Like we found some weird stuff too when we were looking. Like remember there was one that to write poetry about sex.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was so weird. I'm like, well, this is
Nobody
like,
told me.
Yeah, it's like pay you
Danny,
$5.
I have made consistently 75 to 80 cents a week ever since.
Yeah, this guy would like send you $5 if you liked your poems. Or I'm like, that's weird. It's just like some weird fetish guy in freaking Washington Heights or something. Anyway,
I'm in the wrong line of work.
yeah, I didn't even know this could be a career. So, all right, so a couple of announcements, and then we're going to go over to Discord chat, and we're still going to give away a Patreon prize tonight to one lucky winner. Let's see if anybody has come in. Nope. So we got all the regulars on tonight. Tell your friends that they can win Wilson Contreras posters, even though we hate him now. Even though we hate him now, I'll sign it. Signed by me.
Maybe that's why you're not getting anybody. They're like,
yeah, like, well, I don't want that thing. Yeah. The last guy refused it. So
True.
Anyway, I did want to point out that Sandra's book is for sale, and Michael, you went to her poetry reading and met a bunch of people. It looked pretty packed in there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they've got this like it's like a house, and they have a poet in residence that lives upstairs, and then but yeah, there was probably like 20 people, which isn't a ton until you're trying to fit them all into one room so that poets can read. And there were 4 poets. They were, 3 of them were very fun and funny, and then one was like super powerful, but tough stuff that she was reading. But it was a really good night, and the people in there, not baseball fans.
Yeah.
but Sandy did a really good job of winning them over, and and her poems, while baseball themed, are definitely relevant to more than just baseball. They're not like my recaps which
Right.
they're only relevant to like 4 days out of forever, I guess.
Yeah. Well, here's what the cover of the book is: a photograph taken by me. I brought the I brought the her she sent me a signed book, and I brought it out to the bleachers and took a picture of the book facing the exact same. Well, actually, it's not the exact same light standards. They have new lights now. So, but facing the same way, facing aisle
She actually
228.
showed that to me and Emily at the reading.
Oh, cool. And yeah, and Bill points out that she's going to be doing on May 6th in Elmhurst a reading from 12 to 2 with coffee and cocktails, a reading and a chat at Brew Point Crafts in Elmhurst. So check that out. That's on Saturday, May 6th at noon. And I will be playing one of her events here in Chicago on Saturday, May 27th, which is from 2 to 4 p.m. At Cafe Tola number 3. And I'm going to play a couple songs. There's going to be a raffle and empanadas, which that sounds just like an afternoon that I want to be a participant in, and I will be singing a couple songs. Coffee too.
Empanadas.
Yep, I'm going to eat some empanadas, going to drink a little coffee, listen to a little poetry, play a couple of songs, and hopefully you'll be there to
It's a
hang
good
out
day.
with.
That sounds like a great day.
It's a good day. What other announcements do I have? Oh, yeah. Bleacher Bum Band CD release party, which will be on June 17th. And Michael, you have a new baseball rabbit hole about mascots, which I enjoyed very much. So I kept laughing and also being absolutely horrified by some of these mascot stories. Like dead bears and like just like all sorts of terrible things. And by the way, Gapper, the Reds mascot, you said he's a dog.
That's what I read.
We got to talk to Billy about this because that does not look like a dog to me.
I was of the same, like, I was like, yeah, that's weird. But if they're kind of like a family, he's like the family dog. That's what I read. So
our bass player, Jarrett Guy Sirius, brings up, where is Bleacher Bum Band playing on June 17th? I didn't tell anybody. It's not confirmed yet, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be Nisei Lounge.
No, Jared just wants to know where to go. He's
Yeah.
like, I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, he's
He
like, I'm in this
just
band.
learned that you guys have a gig that day.
No, he's telling me to tell everybody where the hell it's going to be. So that's where it's going to be, Nisei Lounge. I think we haven't really solidified that yet. But do I have any more announcements? Yeah, baseball rabbit hole mascots. Oh yeah, and I just a quick, it really sucks. But Beth Murphy died, who was one of the owners of Murphy's, and so Cubs did a very nice thing and put her name and dates up on the Wrigley Field marquee, and also on the marquee in front of Murphy's. They said, "We will miss you, Beth," and it's just it's sad, so it's something like that. I just want to put that out there that that happened, and I saw there was a lot of sadness. So I love Murphy's. I was in there on Saturday, drinking an old style that was bought for me by Jeremiah Weller, like a longtime ranter. So
nice.
So yeah, it's a great meeting place. Just a big bar, just what they built there, and with the rooftop and the players partying and Travis Wood.
I've never even seen the whole bar. It's so big. I've
so
only been
big.
outside and then in that first like kind of main hallway thing. But yeah, last time I was there, I realized there's an upstairs, there's a back room, there's all sorts of stuff that I've never seen.
I didn't know there was an upstairs. I walked through and I went into the back room, but I didn't know anybody in there at the time, so I didn't stay. I didn't know there was an upstairs though. That's interesting.
Well, that's where that's like they also have like I don't know if you mean a upstairs that anybody can get to, but there's definitely an upstairs that it's like more VIP.
Yeah,
where,
that's the one that I'm talking about.
Yeah, Bleacher Jeff was like hanging out with like Theo Epstein up there after he came back for a series last year. And my tie guy was up there too, and that's where Travis Wood was hanging shirtless and stuff like that on that upstairs.
Sounds like this bar is outside of my tax bracket.
Yeah,
that's where my bachelor party ended up after we got thrown out of Wrigley.
Yeah, no, you could get up there. I mean, it's not like I mean, you could go hang out with Travis Wood if the circumstances are right, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Which you never know. You can end up in situations where you just end up hanging out with a shirtless Travis Wood. I can see it happening. So, so yeah, that is the end of my announcements. And we are giving. I think I have one TFC, kind of.
I have two. So, all right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, and this one,
flexing cube.
These flexing cubes, and this one is more of what the fuck are you thinking, dude? Like, this drives me insane. This guy says, I can't be mad. That was a great loss, which was close until the end against a really good team that got off to a cold start. If this is the type of game we lose, I'm happy with it. I almost lost my mind. I'm like, what are you talking about? There are no great losses.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of this. Everybody accuses me of being negative because I'm sad after we lose. And I'm like, fucking Ross. And he's like, oh, there you go, being negative again. I'm like,
no, we lost the game. That's literally negative.
Yeah, I'm being negative about it.
We got off to a cold start. Okay, so we're the ones that warmed them up. That's not a good thing.
Yeah, just Sloan said he wins a race. It's a marathon. And I'm like, no, every single when it's September and all the freaking losses that you can remember when you're like, God damn it. Like, how did they let that guy go an extra inning? Or, why didn't they walk him there? Or, how could they not pinch hit for Madrigal? Or like whatever the hell you're thinking. Any of those moments could have been the game that you won instead. So, yeah, but this is Sun Ranto show. So,
yeah, I mean,
that's just how we roll.
But it did actually happen to us in 2018, right? That was the year. But it actually happened to us where we made it to the end of the season and got caught because there was a lot of fucking meatloaf that year. Even though they did win 95 games, it was a great season. But a lot of meatloaf early in the season that, Joe told us not to worry about.
Those getaway day lineups were just maddening.
Oh, God.
Yep.
They still are. I mean, I understand, and it's only because of who's on the team. And it's the same thing back then, too. So, yeah, I have it. This is from Dennis, our Cardinals fan friend. He hasn't been on the show in a while. He's been super busy with work and stuff. We haven't been able to have him on. But I asked Dennis, I said, Dennis, what's going on with the Cardinals this year? What's the problem? And he said, just adjusting to these ridiculous rule changes right now. Plus going from the greatest catcher of all time to a Cubs player. The best fans in baseball will pull them out of this rut.
Oh my God. You know what? That's
Asshole.
The kind of delusional fake positivity that drives me insane.
Yeah. Fuck you, Dennis.
Okay, so this next one comes from Reddit, Cubs thing, and there was a person on there talking about how they need to get new friends because they've got 2 season tickets and they just can't seem to get their friends to come with them to the games very often, and so then a whole bunch of people were responding, and this dude kind of, I don't know, he missed the mark. He says, you're missing out on the opportunity to wine and dine women with free Cubs tickets included. First off, Cubs tickets doesn't get a woman going. I mean, I'm sorry.
Or any wine and dining.
Yeah.
Like that's not what you do at Cubs games. I don't know. Like,
yeah, but he says, and then he finishes with, make better decisions and you'll be elbow deep in pussy. So OP, the original poster, whose name is Artist Mom 1, says, I'm bi, but I don't think I've ever wanted to be elbow deep.
Jesus Christ.
And Dingless Douglas responds to that, says, I'm a guess that's not what Artist Mom 1 was looking for. And the guy responds with, maybe she Mormon.
What the hell's wrong with people?
I don't know, but I love the idea that she's not trolling for women with Cubs tickets is because she's Mormon. That's the ultimate thing that just well, obviously she's Mormon if she doesn't want to pick up chicks with Cubs tickets.
The whole premise is flawed.
It is. Oh, the whole absolutely.
So shall we pick a winner of this of the Patreon prize of the month?
Let's do it.
First of all, I want to thank everybody who is a Patreon patron because really the show doesn't happen without you. You rock. Can you see the spinning wheel?
Yes.
All right, cool. So anyway, thank you so much for being a Patreon patron. If you are not one, you should be because we have a lot of fun on the Discord, especially after this show. We're going to go over there, have a cocktail, and hang out a little bit longer, talk about the Cubs. And the only way you can do it is if you're a member of our Patreon patronage, or if you're a Patreon patron. So anyway, I'm going to spin this damn thing and pick a winner.
Solano wants this so bad today.
Well, it's his birthday. And the winner is Dominic Galoro.
Oh, Dominic.
Yeah, Dominic. Congratulations, Dominic. You are the winner. Dominic is a mail carrier. And so it's quite possible that Dominic will actually have to deliver what I'm going to send him to himself. I think we've gone over this before that he does a different route, but I just like the idea.
I wonder if they even allow you to carry your own mail. Like there's somehow like you have to have some sort of separation.
I will have to ask Dominic. Dominic, if you're in the chat, let us know if you can deliver your own mail to yourself. And then finally, I want to do the giveaway tool. That's what it's called on the thing. The StreamYard giveaway tool, which for the chance postcard sent to you by me with a message of love and doom. So let me share my screen here.
Nope. There he is. He says, yes, you can, I believe.
You can. All right, let's pick a chance winner. Message of love and doom coming your way. All right, what do we got here?
Whoa, wait.
Oh, there we go. Chris Solano. So it's not the prize he wanted, but you did win something on your birthday. But unfortunately,
you should send him that cute little sippy bottle too.
You know what? I should, because I've been trying to give that thing away for a while. So, oh yeah, and Blake Beard. Blake, I did want to mention that. Thanks for reminding me. Over 100 entries already for the Father's Day contest. And if you don't know what that is about, it's you contact at the Blake Beard on Twitter, and you can enter a contest to win Blake's tickets to bring your father on Father's Day to come see the Cubs game. It comes with a bunch of other fabulous prizes, including a song written for your father by me. Plus, you get $100 and Cubs hats and like a little gift bag. I don't know. A lot of cool stuff. Anyway, so Blake's giving that away. If you would like to enter the contest, all you got to do is write a little. What was it? A video that you got to make, or an essay? He would just
he said you just have to DM him in on Twitter or whatever, and just explain why
you want to bring your dad.
Get the tickets to take your dad to a game.
Yeah. So it's awesome.
Speaking of that, are you wearing the Mother's Day hat right now?
I don't know. Somebody asked me that today, and I mean, I only buy things on suicide sale discount. So whatever hat it was, it's from a while ago, and it doesn't say anything about Mother's Day on it. So but
I feel like that's what they did, was just like a gray with the pink. Is the bill pink as well?
Yes.
Yeah, the bill's pink. See, I feel like that is the Mother's Day hat from some season.
Yeah. Very well could be. So anyway, coming up, that's the show pretty much. We got nothing more to tell you, but we will be on Discord afterwards. Lee Elia Day is Saturday. It is the anniversary of Lee Elia's infamous rant. And so you might recognize a few people in this video that I'm about to show you, which is from a couple years ago when we did I call it the Lee Elia Familia, which is us all performing Lee Elia's famous rant from way back then, and a line at a time. So I had a lot of fun putting this together, and I will show the video right now after I say Spagog.
Spagog.
Ooh, lighting change.
I'll tell you one fucking thing. I hope we get fucking hotter than shit just to stuff it up them 3,000 fucking people that show up every fucking day.
Because if they're the real Chicago fucking fans, they can kiss my fucking ass right downtown and print it.
They're really, really behind you around here. My fucking ass.
What the fuck am I supposed to do? Go out there and let my fucking players get destroyed every day and be quiet about it?
For the fucking nickel and dime people that show up?
The motherfuckers don't even work. That's why they're out at the fucking game.
They ought to go out and get a fucking job and find out what it's like to go out and earn a fucking living.
85% of the fucking world's working. The other 15 come out here.
A fucking playground for the cocksuckers. Rip them motherfuckers.
Rip them fucking cocksuckers like the fucking players.
Now we got guys busting their fucking ass and then fucking people boo.
And that's the Cubs?
My fucking ass.
You talk about the great fucking support the players get around here.
I haven't seen it this fucking year.
The name of the game is hit the ball, catch the ball, and get the fucking job done.
Right now, we have more losses than we have wins.
The fucking changes that have happened in the Cub organization are multifold.
All right, they don't show because we're 5-14.
And unfortunately, that's the criteria of them dumb 15 motherfucking percent that come out to day baseball.
The other 85% are earning a living.
It'll take more than a 5-13 or a 5-14 to destroy the makeup of this club.
I guarantee you that.
There's some fucking pros out there that want to fucking play this game.
But you're stuck in a fucking stigma of the fucking Dodgers and the Phillies and the Cardinals and all that cheap shit.
And all these motherfucking editorials about say and fuck the Phillyitis and all that shit. It's sickening.
Unbelievable. It really is.
This is a disheartening fucking situation we're in right now.
5-14 doesn't negate all the work.
We got 143 fucking games left.
What I'm trying to say is, don't rip them fucking guys out there.
Rip me! If you want to rip somebody, rip my fucking ass.
But don't rip them fucking guys, because they're giving everything they can give.
And once we hit that fucking groove, it'll flow.
And it will flow. The talent's there.
I don't know how to make it any clearer to you.
I'm frustrated. I guarantee you I'm frustrated.
It'd be different if I walked in this room at 8:30, saw a bunch of guys that didn't give a shit.
They give a shit. And it's a tough National League East.
It's a tough National League, period.